In the morning, the Mobility Secretariat accompanied the restart of operations of the Vehicle Disintegration Center of the department.
The departmental government was present at the restart of operation of the Vehicle Disintegration Center, which has ceased activities in recent days. With the start of the compactation of vehicles, the Secretariat of Mobility expects to evacuate from the island junk vehicles abandoned in the department.
We are initiating operations of monitoring to the disintegration operator Naranjo, taking into account the lifting of the Order 086, where we must guarantee that this procedure is done with all the characteristics and recommendations that are being made by the court. Our objective is to guarantee the effective and efficient disposal of all this iron material, all these vehicles that are abandoned on the roads, that they are brought here to the compactor so that we can have an island with a more beautiful landscape.
The Vehicle Disintegration Center has the capacity to compact 50 vehicles and 30 motorcycles per day. Those who wish to disintegrate their vehicles and are registered should approach the Secretariat of Mobility. Those who do not have registration must approach the establishment. The Secretariat of Mobility will visit different sectors of the island in the coming days to identify abandoned junk vehicles.
Through official communiques, the corresponding entities announced that in the center of the Colombian Caribbean Sea, the threat due to wind speed and swell height will persist during this week.
During the next 3 days of this week, in large sectors of the Colombian Caribbean Sea, including areas of the archipelago of San Andres, Providence, and Queclina, it is expected that wind speed will vary between 20 to 25 knots, and the height of waves to reach values between 2 and 4 meters, especially in the center of the National Maritime Zone offshore.
Al momento, haciendo referencia al
At the moment, referring to the special communique number 046 of the Caribbean Oceanographic Research Center, we continue to see the interaction of a high-pressure system located west of the Atlantic Ocean and a low-pressure system southwest of the Colombian Caribbean coast. This maintains the continuous flow of trade winds from the east of the Caribbean Sea with winds of 20 to 25 knots and a height of 2 to 2.2 meters waves for the next hours. The weather conditions are expected to increase due to the interaction between the systems.
Likewise, the authorities stated that in addition, the effect produced by the transit of a tropical wave from the east of the Colombian Caribbean Sea will also be felt.
Teleislas News learned that the crematory furnace is currently suspended, as it appears that the information required by the Environmental Corporation has not been delivered.
Apparently, the feasibility of the crematorium is suspended due to the lack of documents to be submitted to Carolina Environmental Corporation. This could be one of the reasons why the activation operation of the furnace have not been started to date. The Secretary of Public Services, Maria Paula Vélez, spoke about the subject, stating that once the process for the operation of the furnace are completed, the reactivation of the permit will be requested. It is worth mentioning that the oven is of vital importance for the final disposal of the corpses of people who have died from COVID-19 in the island. And precisely today, the Attorney General Office sent circular calling majors and territorial authorities to comply with the guidelines for the handling, transfer, and the final disposal of corpses by COVID-19. The control entity urged departments, municipalities, and other authorities to implement strategies to anticipate a possible emergency situation in public health in their territories. For this reason, it is expected that the furnace will soon come into operation, taking into account that more than 100 people have died today due to the pandemic.
A new line of credit was approved for islanders to provide economic support, taking into account the effect of the hurricanes on the economy of the archipelago. The director of the Fundación de la Mujer, Cristina Corpus, provides more information.
The beneficiaries of this line of credit are micro-enterprises, natural or legal persons living in San Andres that belong to any socioeconomic stratum.
In the same line, Corpus explained the requirements to acquire the credit.
El cliente nuevo
The new client must be developing some independent economic activity and be the owner of it, which must be provable and verifiable. The purpose of the loan is for working capital, fixed assets, payment of payroll, or it can be invested in operating costs and expenses for the operation of the business, investment for biosecurity, remodeling, renovation or remodeling of housing or commercial premises.
It is worth mentioning that the Vamos San Andres loan has a term of 12 to 36 months and a grace period of up to 3 months for the capital with the support of the National Guarantee Fund and bank holdings.
And at this time, we are going to make an assessment of the coronavirus situation in the islands.
For this weekend, the department only added 6 new cases of COVID-19, 5 of which occurred on Saturday, while 1 occurred on yesterday, Sunday. Similarly, it is worth noting that today in the report issued by the Ministry of Health and the national level, on the islands there were 6 new cases, reaching a total of 6,528 cases since the beginning of the coronavirus pandemic. It is also important to highlight that today a total of 49,413 doses of vaccine against the virus has been applied in the department. It is highlighted that the local administration today has not informed how many active cases there are on the island and how is the ICU occupation in the department. Therefore, this news agency will be attentive to the development of the evolution of COVID-19 cases in the islands.
And now we continue with all information from our sister islands of Providence and Catalina. Heavy rains and breezes this past weekend wreaked havoc for the people in Old Providence who are still living in tents after 8 months since the hurricane. So members of the community made a protest by blocking the road.
Winds of up to 68 kilometers per hour and heavy rains were recorded this weekend in the municipality, worsening the drama for many Providence natives who are still living in tents.
I got 3 picnics last night. Was the horrible situation I ever passed from my house broke down. Very fatal.
It was horrible. It was like living the experience of the hurricane again because it comes with breeze, it comes with rain, and I worry about the children. The little children were screaming, crying. There is nowhere to keep them safe.
Some of the tents did not withstand the winds and ended up being carried away by the strong air currents. The situation pushed the community of Freetown to demonstrate their dissatisfaction by blocking the vehicular passage.
They promised they were going to do my house. They promised they were going to come on Tuesday, and today is Sunday and they haven't arrived. They haven't told me anything. I'm outside. I got all wet last night. The tent fell down, but I don't want another tent. I want my house because in Freetown they have not only built 2 houses, they started my uncle's and they didn't do anything.
We got the road blocking in Freetown because people in there get wet, the people in need their house, and then we got Freetown complete. Because everywhere has got new house barring Freetown. So what happened to Freetown people? And we suffer hurricane too. And for hurricane pass, we suffer and we continue to suffer. And then I come out this morning, I leave my house because I have my picnic too and I get wet.
The mayor and several members of his cabinet visited the site where they reached agreements with the demonstrators to lift the blockade. Finally, this morning, works began in one of the 7 houses agreed to be intervened in this neighborhood.
They have already started to demolish Georgina's house. We thank God that they came and that they continue to help us because we really need it.
The archaeological artifacts found during the dredging are in the provisional custody of the Guardia Raizal, the Fishermen Federation, and the Notary. This until the municipality prepares a suitable place for their exhibition.
More than 600 archaeological elements were left under the provisional custody of the Raizal Garden in Notary, Marie Miranda. These are part of the archaeological heritage of the Raizal people found in the framework of the dredging.
The Raizal Guard is going to take care of these elements together with the person who is going to guard them, who is the notary Mario Miranda, while the protocols of rigor are carried out to deliver these elements under the custody of the municipal entity. They are the ones who must keep, exhibit, use them to investigate and to reveal sources about our history.
The Municipal Secretary of Culture qualified as a historical moment the reception of these elements and sees with pleasure that they will rest in the municipality.
These elements are going to give us part of the history of this beautiful department. We are very happy about this. We also want to thank the participation of the Fishermen's Federation and everything that makes up this Camp for Dignity. They are going to be the ones who, in principle, are going to receive and safeguard these elements, while the municipal administration gets the right place for the exhibition and possession.
Among the elements there have been found amphoras from the 19th, 18th, and 17th century, and even elements from countries like Ireland.
Almost all the findings are framed within the processes of the French Revolution and therefore also of independence because they are associated with the 18th and 19th centuries.
The Appalachia Foundation invites to visit their website to learn more about these artifacts.
And now let's continue with all the cultural news of our department. Today in our cultural section, we inform from the Cultural Center that we are holding a seminar entitled What is Island Art, which has 3 speakers as guests.
Gerardo Mosquera from Cuba, Maria Clara Bernard from Colombia, and Hans Session from Switzerland are the 3 special guests at the virtual seminar organized by the Banco de la República, Caribbean Manifestation. Topics such as challenges, barriers, and opportunities for artists, appearance, memory, and storytelling in the art of the Greater Caribbean will be discussed. Irma Bermudez, the director of the Cultural Center, emphasized the importance of the event.
An event aimed at artists, audiovisual producers, amateur designers, and art lovers. The virtual seminar began last week with a conference with the participation of Cuban curator Gerardo Mosquera, who was able to describe the art scene from the Caribbean region, specifically its islands, and through a workshop he was also able to interact with the artists.
It is important to remember that these events will be held virtually and all those interested will be able to access them through the social networks of the Banco de la República.
The community is also invited to participate in the week to read, share, and build peace.
Because peace is also built from the libraries, there will be a workshop from July 13 to 16 of this 2020 year through visual transmission by the networks of the Bank of the Republic.
The program consists of a conference and a workshop aimed at teachers, reading promoters, and parents interested in encouraging their children to read. The 2 activities will take place between July 13 and 16 within the framework of the Ibero-American Year of Libraries and will provide participants with strategies to encourage reading through new formats.